and welcome to today's show. Today we're going to talk about happiness. The main question is, are we human beings meant to be happy? To answer that question, we've divided it into sub-questions, like what is happiness and should we achieve happiness? What do you think when you think about happiness? For example, I think about social contact, like friends, family, and lovers. They have the power to make me happy. And happiness itself, I think, is just the feeling that everything's okay and that you can do whatever you want. On the phone, I've got Ruud Veenhoven. He's our professor in happiness and teaches on the universities of Utrecht and Rotterdam. Ruud, you have done the research. What is happiness exactly?
Happiness is a difficult word. In general, we define happiness as satisfaction of life. You can look at that in two different ways. The first one is comparing what an ideal life is and how close I get to that. The second way is an emotional appreciation. How well do I feel? In all the years of my research about happiness, I noticed that the second dominates. Comparing is what we do last to the question, are you happy? We first check how we feel. But it's still a difficult point. Everyone experiences happiness in a different way. What's happiness to you may not be happiness to me.
Okay, so what you just said, there's no real definition of happiness. It's always subjective.
Yes, it is, and that's why it's so hard to measure, or to define it. We used to think happiness was relative. The more we get, the more we want. So, according to that theory, we always be unhappy. But as research proves, that's not true. The more freedom, wealth and other desirable things we get, the happier we become.
So, should we achieve happiness?
Again, there are different ways to look upon that. Some say that happiness is at most a bonus, that there are more things that matter in life, like being a good person, or God, or just society. These are the people that think happiness makes you selfish, and less caring for the pain of others. Happiness would, to them, lead to a lack of responsibility. If that's true, we've got a problem, because then we need to choose between good people or happy people. But research proves that's not the case. Happy people are better in relationships and are more open to the problems of others. They are more active in society and give more to charity. Therefore, happiness leads to sharing and activity.
You say happy people are more open for relationships. Do they also get happier from those relationships?
Yes, they are very good for you, but there are significant differences in sexes and age. For example, men get happier when they get older because then they've got more chance in a relationship. Women, on the other hand, become earlier mature. Therefore, they are sooner open to relationships of which they get happier. It's not that women get unhappy when they get older, it's just that they become less satisfied. However, if you look at who of the two has got the most happy years in their life, women win.
Okay, thank you Luke for your time.
You're welcome.
So, a little recap. Happiness is subjective. Everyone feels it differently. You get happy from relationships, and we, women, are more happy throughout our whole life. And according to Ruud Veenhoven, happiness is certainly worth the effort. Now we're going to talk to the companion of au pairs now, Lana and Dionne. They wrote a thesis on happiness, but they think about happiness a little bit differently. Hi, Lana.
Hi, Dionne.
First of all, what's your definition of happiness?
Like Spinoza once said, happiness is when life increases. What he meant with that is happiness increases when you live your life to the fullest. So really live your life.
Okay, that's quite a clear definition. And in your research, what's the most important thing you've found?
That will be the question about how to achieve happiness. According to our research, you can only truly be happy when you felt pain in your life. You need to learn from your mistakes to gain wisdom and be happier about what you do have got.
Are there any other negative sides to happiness?
People who say they're perfectly happy make less progress in their career. Those people even die slightly earlier. This is because of the pain you need to have had in order to be happy. So, in that way, if you want to live longer, you can better get an 8 instead of a 10 on the scale of happiness.
Okay, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
So, all in all, what's the answer to our main question? Are we human beings meant to be happy? Well, there's not really one answer. I guess you could ask yourself, is it worth being happy? Like Luke Fayose said, happy people are better in relationships and more open to the problems of others. They are more active in clubs and give more to charity. Happiness leads to sharing and activity. On the other hand, Alf Bersma says people who say they are perfectly happy make less progress in their career and even die slightly earlier. So you need to think for yourself what's more important to you and then draw your own conclusion. I'd say it's totally worth it. And now I've got a newsflash for you. I bet you didn't knew that the gross national happiness existed. Watch my colleague Amy explain it to you.
Hi, this is Amy, your happiness expert, and I want to talk to you about gross national happiness. What the heck is that? Well, fortunately, in 1972, the king of a country called Bhutan, which is located in the Himalayas, introduced this concept of gross national happiness. And instead of having gross national product, he adopted gross national happiness for the country. And since enacting that particular policy in 1972, there has been a 19-year increase in longevity, a 50% increase in literacy, and a general overall well-being increase of the entire country, and it's the most sustainable country on the planet. So, other countries are starting to focus on Bhutan as a mentor to them in their happiness, and Nobel laureates are coming together figuring out what is this gross national happiness and how do we particularly apply it in our country. They're starting to do it in England and America. In fact, in 2006 is the first time in history that we have a world map of happiness. So remember, when you are happy, your happiness is affecting the gross national happiness index in your country. So increase your happiness and increase your country's well-being.
Okay, this was it for this week's show. Thank you for watching.
En make less progress in their career. Nee, even serieus, hoe zal ik het uitspreken? That will be the question about how to achieve happiness. According to... You can better... Those people even die slightly... Kut. Waarom klik je hem nou weg? Want daar heb ik niet verstopt.
So, a little recap. Ik wil het zo echt niet. What is happiness and how First of all, what's your definition of happiness? En wat maakt het er?